Hey, all my friends from Quest, how are you? It's been a couple weeks since we were together there at the end of September, and I hope you're doing well. I wanted to check in with you just to remind you of a couple of things. First of all, in this email, you'll see some dates for our final one-on-one session of the year. So some dates, final one-on-one session, book those right away if you could please. Secondly, don't forget that much of what we've talked about, either in our one-on-one session or face-to-face, is all archived material at quest.thechangingpoint.com. Quest.thechangingpoint.com. And you can access the information that we've talked about. I think some of you have forgotten about that. Third, we all made commitments when we were there of what we were going to do in the last 90 days of the year. You had self-reflected, self-identified, done some introspection about things that you would do a little bit differently, because if you always do what you've always done, you'll always get what you've always got. And if you want something to change, then you've got to change. So we all talked, we all made commitments of what we were going to do in the last 90 days to reach the goals that you had laid out. Goals that had been modified and adjusted and you thought were realistic, and you had a pinpoint focus on some very specific targets. And then you back that up with some very specific changes you were going to make in the way you did business every day. You identified what the deficiency may have been, and you were going to take corrective action. I guess the question is, how's that going? We said that it wasn't just trying harder, that if you were going to step into the spotlight, you couldn't just try harder. And then I listed those keys up on the wall or up on the board. That things that had to be adjusted. And I clarified those. That if you were going to step into the limelight, there was only a few things. But it wasn't trying harder, that wasn't a strategy. Because that would imply that you haven't been trying up until now. And if you haven't been trying up until now, somebody should fire you. And Charlene was very clear, it wasn't a lack of effort. It was more of just refinement. And if there was some things that you have left behind, or some edges that have rounded, then you need to bring the best of what you've done in the past into today, and you need to sharpen up those edges so that it's pinpoint focused. That those were the keys. Now, I'm not going to go into a long dissertation about it. You know what you committed to. When we meet one-on-one, I'll be asking you about that. What you've done differently. What are you doing differently? Because that's the only way to get a different result. If you want tomorrow to be better than it was yesterday, then you got to do something different. You got to change. We've all heard it. The definition of insanity, right? Doing the same thing over and over again, think I'm going to get a different result. That's not going to work. So it's just a little friendly reminder to ask you about what have you done different since we met 2 weeks ago, or whatever it's been, a little bit over 2 weeks ago. Hopefully you've done something different. When you go to that quest.thechangingpoint.com, look at the other information that maybe you haven't looked at before on communication and the such. Check it out, because it's going to help you. It's going to help you refine your approach, refine your style, to help you be more pinpoint focused and help not only achieve the goals that you've laid out here in the last quarter of 2013, but also 2014. All right, so I look forward to talking to you one-on-one. Make sure you book that appointment, and we'll have a good chat together. Talk to you soon. Take care, everybody.